Netflix's Bet concludes with Yumeko Kawamoto achieving her goal and her true intentions coming to light. The opening scene of the latest live-action Kakegurui adaptation begins with Yumeko enrolling at the elite St. Dominic's Prep, which is known for the high-stakes gambling that the students engage in. Yumeko, a compulsive gambler, gets embroiled in the chaotic world at St. Dominic's, beating the school's best players and also losing a few games during her meteoric rise to the top. Initially, Yumeko isn't seen as a threat, but her ability to end up on top even in the games that other students are sure she'll lose garners the attention of St. Dominic's Student Council President, Kira. As she giddily engages in the infamous gambling games, Yumeko doesn't lose sight of her goal, which is to find out who murdered her parents in cold blood. When she gets a spot in the highly coveted student council, Yumeko finally comes face to face with her parents' killer and avenges them at the end of Netflix's live-action TV show. What happened to Yumeko's parents in Bet? Yumeko's parents were murdered because they betrayed the Kakegurui Club. From the start of Bet, Yumeko only had one goal. She wanted to murder who killed her parents and wasn't too concerned about finding out what led to their deaths. For Yumeko, the fact that they were murdered was more important than the reason behind it. As she delved deeper into the mystery, she erroneously concluded that her roommate's father was her parents' killer because he had the same name as the person she heard them arguing with. Yumeko's plan to murder Ray didn't work out, which turns out to be a good thing because he wasn't the real culprit. The person who had a hand in their death was actually Michael's father. At the end of every term, the members of St. Dominic's Student Council get a chance to meet the school's board, which presents an opportunity for Yumeko to avenge her parents. The compulsive gambler initially tried and failed to poison Ray, and ended up with her and Kira ingesting the deadly chemical. As the two teenagers gambled for the antidote, Kira provided some illuminating information about Keiko and Joe Jobami. Yumeko's parents had created a digital currency that would help spread the wealth of the Kakegurui Club to other members of society. When their friends discovered what Keiko and Joe were planning to do, they sent Ray after them to stop them before they lost everything they had. While Ray was the one who set Keiko and Joe on fire, the entire Kakegurui Club was behind their murder. In an interesting turn of events, Ray, before drawing his last breath, revealed that Yumeko's mother might still be alive. How Yumeko avenges her parents' death. Yumeko killed Ray in Bet Season Finale. Yumeko, Maiku Martino, playing cards in Bet Season 1. Image via Netflix. While Yumeko gave the impression that she just loved gambling and taking risks, underneath that facade lay a dark secret. Her parents' deaths had left an indelible impression on a young Yumeko, and avenging them became her life's purpose. Even when she found out that Ray was one of her closest friends' father, she didn't let that stop her. So when she got the chance to exact her revenge, she didn't think twice about it. When Yumeko met Ray at the meeting between the student council and the board members, she poisoned his drink, but he didn't ingest it because Kira had taken it away. However, she got another opportunity when her new partner handed her a drink with the same deadly poison that she had intended to give him in the first place. Yumeko stabs Ray with a mixer, and he dies, but leaves her with a mystery regarding her mother's fate. Why Kira partners with Yumeko at the end of Bet Season 1. Kira plans to get her spot on the student council back. Yumeko, Maiku Martino, and Kira, Clara Alexandrova, face to face in Bet Season 1. Image via Netflix. To say that Kira and Yumeko didn't get along would be an understatement. But interestingly enough, the two end up forming a partnership in the show's season finale. Like Yumeko, Kira's life was shaped by her parents, just in a different way. Kira wanted to please her father and inherit his empire once he deemed she was ready to do so. But to her surprise, he chose her sister as the president of the student council. So when Kira found out that her father had a hand in the murder of Keiko and Joe, she naturally joined hands with Yumeko with the hope of bringing him down. While she helped Yumeko escape after she killed Ray, there's no way of telling if Kira will indeed be faithful to their partnership, given that she spent her whole life trying to please her dad. It won't be easy for Kira to simply turn off that part of her, even if it means she'll end up getting what she's worked so hard for. Do Ryan and Yumeko end up together in Bet? Ryan and Yumeko are still friends in Bet Season Finale. Yumeko, Maiku Martino, and Ryan, Io Solanki, at a school dance in Bet Season 1. Image via Netflix. Netflix's Bet doesn't have a lot of romance in it. The show instead focuses on Yumeko and the hierarchy at St. Dominic's. However, there's a love story blooming between Yumeko and Ryan. Ryan fell instantly for Yumeko, but it didn't seem like she felt the same way about him. Even when she offered to take his virginity, it was more to win a bet and not because she felt the way he did. So while Ryan helped Yumeko escape, they didn't form a romantic bond in the live-action adaptation season finale. How Bet's ending sets up Season 2. Bet Season 1 ended on a cliffhanger. Yumeko, Maiku Martino, and Chad, Dorian Giordano outside in Bet Season 1. Image via Netflix. Bet didn't conclude with all questions answered, which naturally sets up a second season. In the finale of Bet, Ray died, thus making Michael the head of his father's criminal organization. Given that he had tried to stop Yumeko from killing Ray, he might want revenge for his death, even if they didn't have a close relationship. Yumeko also promised Kira that she'll help her get control of the student council, so the change in their dynamic plays a huge role in what can happen in the high school drama's potential sophomore season. How Bet Season 1's ending changes the anime. Bet makes several changes to Kakegurui. When it was announced that Netflix would be creating another live-action adaptation of Kakegurui, it was clear that the new series would be very different from the anime. Bet makes several changes to Kakegurui, including the show's setting, title, and Yumeko's reason for being at St. Dominic's. So naturally, the ending of Bet is slightly different from the anime. In Bet's finale, Yumeko runs away, partners with Kira, and lives to fight another day after avenging her parents. The anime, however, concludes with Ririka plotting how to bring Yumeko down. Despite these differences, there are some similarities between Bet and Kakegurui in that Kira and Yumeko don't end up as enemies, but as acquaintances who have grown to respect each other.